Have I been in love with men in my life? 1000%.
Whoa!
I've been called butch so many times in my life.
Not saying like I don't love you because you're not like me.
I don't believe in monogamy.
Not too many divides, but some divides.
Welcome back to the Be Free Show, everybody. My name is Brian Terada, and today we are asking the question, do all lesbians think the same? It is difficult to have another girl know when I am flirting.
This is the furthest you could be? I flirt hard. Extended eye contact. I think it's very obvious.
Likewise, I'm a very outgoing person, and if I want you in my life and I like you, you're 100% gonna know that. I like a little hand on the knee moment, or like eye contact, like you said, right? A lean in,
Okay.
Maybe a little kiss.
Amy's over here taking notes, literally.
I am just a friendly all-around person, and so I don't know if there's something different between when I'm flirting or not flirting. Nobody believes I'm flirting, I feel like. That's how I feel, but I also can't recognize a flirt.
It can be kind of difficult sometimes just because I'm very femme presenting and I like more femmes too. So it's kind of hard to distinguish whether or not I'm flirting or trying to be a girly pop friend, you know?
Tell us why.
Zan, what happened?
You can have a friend that you think is just your friend and you're doing friend stuff, and then you find out like, wait a minute, girl, like you've been doing all this because you like me? What would you have done if I was your friend? Like, I don't know the difference.
You don't know if they're like buying you something to be like a friend to spot you or to like, hey, like nudge nudge.
Court you.
Yeah, court you, yeah.
There's always one person with masculine energy and one person with feminine energy in my relationships.
Everyone has both male and female energy.
There's always gonna be something like of each.
A little bit of
because
both.
yes, because it's like such a unique experience.
I was always very much the mask in all of the relationships I've been in.
I feel like if someone in a relationship is more masc or more femme, it just kind of ties back to gender roles.
I don't mind lifting heavy things. You know, like that's what my mask flex is, if you will.
I've been called butch so many times in my life, and I'm like, I am so not butch. I might appear to you to be not butch. Like, I'm pretty soft and not soft butch.
I think that it's kind of nice to share the responsibilities and the gender roles because it keeps it fun and exciting.
It's not really about masculine or feminine. It's more about like dominant and submissive.
How do you act differently when you're doing one or the other?
I either do everything or I do nothing.
I would give my partner a second chance after they cheated on me.
I think like in your own relationship, you have to like define, well, what does cheating mean? That's different for everyone.
I'm a forgiving person, but after that, like you're just being stupid because it's not a mistake, it's a behavior.
I'm more open, so there really is no like cheating for me unless there's boundaries discussed and all that.
My partner and I talk about the root of love for us is respect. And it's like if you're doing it in a way that's like disrespectful, then that's just like,
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be doing that in my next relationship. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna put up with that. I put up with it in past relationships, not put up with it, but like forgave, and here I am still, so.
I agree. Like, I'm not gonna be stupid again.
I don't think so, yeah, I don't know. I have forgiven and then it didn't work out still.
yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it's gotta be case by case, really, if we're really talking about anything, but for the case of this, it's no. It's a no.
The adult industry has negatively impacted the lesbian community.
The two don't correlate with each other.
And if anything, it like shed light to it.
For mine, it would be just the unrealistic depiction of such things.
It sets like an unrealistic standards when it comes to different types of lesbians and what people are comfortable with. I feel like lesbians are already overly sexualized in our world, and I feel like pornography sometimes really pushes that narrative.
It like made people realize there's a market to like actually do lesbian porn right. And it's good, I'm gonna say. I'm so happy that those people saw a need.
Right.
Because it's fantastic.
When you're very sheltered and you don't have that, that environment of knowing what the community is, and pornography is your only.
It's the worst place to start.
Girl, it's the devil.
I am open to an open relationship.
I don't believe in monogamy. I'm married. Me and my wife are exploring what that means. Humans and people can love a lot of different people at the same time, and that doesn't discount your current relationship with your partner.
I just think we come across so many people in our lifetime. It's kind of hard to have that one person to spend forever with. It is possible, it is attainable, but it's just not for everyone. I know I'm very just out there. When I meet tons of people, and whoever my partner is, I would want them to also go out and explore and like meet people, just because I just feel like connections are super important.
On my first date with my fiance, we had an entire conversation about how stupid marriage was. Now we're getting married in February. When we dive in deep together, another person would that would be a lot. It'd be hard to manage.
Anytime I've ever attempted it in the past, it hasn't gone so swell. Didn't end great. Somebody got hurt every time. So I'd rather avoid that if I can.
Yeah, all my partners has been monogamous. It depends on the situation, the stability. Like, dude, it has to be like the perfect person.
Sometimes people, when they're in an open relationship, it usually means they have a primary partner. It just kind of depends on the open relationship you're in.
Yeah, the scheduling alone. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's hard enough to get me and my girl's schedule right. Like, I can't imagine another schedule? Get out of here.
It's okay to leave an ex's photos up on social media with me, even when I'm in a new relationship.
Never.
Oh, I don't care at all. I don't care about stuff like that, so.
It's okay or it's not okay?
It's okay.
Personally, I would be so keen on that. I just don't like that to be in my face, like, you know what I mean?
I'm not going back to 2012 Facebook. I don't want to see any of those photos regardless. I'm not going to go and delete them. I just don't really care that much about social media in that way, like where I judge either my partners or myself based on like past friendships, regardless if it's like an ex or whatever that relationship was.
I also feel like it's easier for us to be friends with our exes after the fact versus if it was more like male, female. And at the end of the day, that's still a very important person and contributed a lot to them. And I think it's important that they're in their life some way, somehow, whether that's like social media, actually being friends with them.
It's fine because it is something that is part of who you are. You can't just erase a person from someone's life unless they've done something terrible or horrible, of course, and deserve to be erased. But
even still, they're a part of your journey.
Yeah.
They're a part of what got you to where you are. You can't pretend like your past didn't happen.
Now, you know those photo booth photos that are always the string and always you kiss them?
Yeah.
You cut that one out. It's fine. You remove it.
I wouldn't want it up in my house.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if, that was that person's journey that made them the right person for you at the time that you met. So it's kind of a beautiful thing.
I've always known that I was a lesbian.
I had my first crush when I was 4, and I had only crushes on girls all through the beginning until I was like 6 and told somebody who my crush was at school, and that's when I found out it was different.
Do you feel like you knew that only looking back? Or you
No,
knew
I
that?
knew.
Okay. I had those crushes at a really young age too. Whenever I had a schoolgirl crush, whenever I was 6 or whatever, I wasn't aware of what that meant or what that was.
Yeah, I didn't know what it meant.
So
just
I don't
knew.
know.
I didn't know what it meant until somebody told me.
Right.
And they were like, you can't have a crush on girls. And I was like, oh, well, I've been doing that for a while.
Had feelings, didn't know what they were, didn't discuss them with anybody, and nobody else was discussing it. And so therefore, if once I did figure out that there was a thing that two girls liked each other, there was nothing but negative things to be said about it at the time. So that was not something I was going to be doing. There wasn't language for it. There wasn't any sort of to-go-tos. I didn't see myself like they can now. And sometimes I question it still, honestly. But I always thought it was just the person. I've always said, it's the person that I'm in love with. It's not anything to do with anything else. And I have been in love with men, but I've been in love with more women.
I can give myself an easy label as like, oh, I'm a lesbian. But have I been in love with men in my life? 1,000%. Do I prefer women? 1,000%.
I've always had girl crushes. Of course, I had like crushes on guys, but it's only because of what people around you will be saying. And like that one boy, all the girls have crushes on, right? But girl, when I knew, I knew.
I have used a U-Haul within 2 months of meeting someone. Or 3 months.
Forgot about that one.
3 months is the cutoff.
I would be lying if I said I couldn't see myself doing it, because I definitely could. But I prefer to take my time getting to know someone and just making sure that they are right for me, because putting someone in my life is kind of a big deal.
Right now, I am in the most serious relationship I've ever been in. I'm married, and I've never moved in with anyone, ever, until my current partner. And that was like a little accident because the pandemic happened and we didn't know what was going on. I was like, let's go visit my parents for the first time. And we thought we were only gonna stay there for 2 weeks, and we ended up living with them for 6 months.
Whoa!
That's either a make or break situation. And it worked, so.
That's great.
Yeah.
Why do you guys think it's common for lesbians to move in together quickly?
Easier for women to connect.
No, I feel like we're really open to just talking about things and very open with our feelings, and just, so it's easier to connect with someone on a deeper level when you really get into it.
It's hard for me to fit into the queer community.
Some people will look at me and just not think I'm queer or not think I'm gay, which is fine. That's their opinion, but it does, because that judgment, it just makes it harder to actually connect with them and get to know them.
I feel like the spaces that are considered queer are predominantly like white, gay males. When I show up to lesbian and queer events, but like lesbian specifically, I'm chilling. Like,
I've never had an issue or a problem feeling like that, even if I might present a certain way, that I do or don't fit into the queer community. It's definitely about your friend group and like your own personality and how you take up space. Regardless if it's like a queer event or not, I always feel like I'm part of the community, because that's just who I am and part of me and how I identify in my life.
I've always felt comfortable. I guess always, no, that's not true. But since I've been out since I was 22 years old. And so I've been basically very proud of who I am in the queer world. And I love the word queer, and I'm glad that it's the one we're going with. It seems a little bit more now, which I really, really like a lot. It just feels more inclusive to everyone that is part of the community.
right, because there's non-binary lesbians, so it's like.
I've often said gay, and then suddenly I've realized they're sort of using that just for men now. And I'm like, that's interesting. It's also been the labeling of things has been interesting to see that develop over
For sure.
my lifetime so far, and I'm sure it'll continue to do so.
My introduction to the queer community, the LGBTQ community, was doing volunteer work. That is just in itself a very inclusive space. I don't really do much here in Los Angeles as far as going out and stuff, but I feel like I still feel very connected to that foundation. The cause is for that, to be inclusive and be welcoming to people.
It's ultimately like not inclusive. It's actually a divide between like straight or gay. And then it's like once you're gay, you're in the club. But if you say you're not, you don't belong.
So I think it's really important that we have our own community that maybe doesn't include straight people, because they don't really relate to our experiences and like know what we've gone through, and you know, they just don't know what it's like to have like the same gendered love. So I think it's really important that we have a safe space, especially since homophobia is still a very big thing and something I still have come across.
Yeah, I feel like it goes back to having a safe space for sure.
Not saying like I don't love you because you're not like me.
Right. We just have a different experience.
Yeah, just
Not too many divides, but some divides.
yeah. Not everybody's a baseball fan. You know what I mean?
Well, get out.
Thank y'all so much for watching. Do all lesbians think the same? And thank you to these wonderful lesbians for joining us today. We'll see you next time.